Pugh. That'll do it! That will do it! Pugh for Bournemouth! The roof of the Gold Sands is raised! Everyone here knows what that could mean to this football.
Hi Bournemouth fans, and welcome to the full-time free-for-all. This show is live and provides you a chance to react after tonight's match at the Liberty Stadium in Swansea. Looking at the pitch beforehand, it looked pretty damn dreadful, and so for two footballing sides, we all wondered what type of match we were going to witness. Bournemouth dominated. We out-footballed them, especially in the second half on that cabbage patch of a pitch at the Liberty Stadium. But for what I deem as an awful refereeing performance from Peter Banks, I think Bournemouth would have won that match. I thought he had a total mare. I mean, the guy had a shocking game throughout, blowing the whistle unnecessarily at times. And look, we all saw his absolute abomination of a performance at the Amex yesterday, where he was behind the screen and recommending that lot up the road should have had a penalty when it clearly happened outside the box. Well, tonight, he was at it again. Last night, he found a way for one team to win. Today, it felt like he found a way for one team not to win. We had a sketchy first half against the Swans, but the second half was dominant. And I think it's a gauge of how we're going to deal with teams in and around us. And let's face it, from the teams we've played, it's not been bad. 11 points from Norwich, Reading, Watford, Bristol City and Swansea. That's excellent, really, isn't it? Let's enjoy the season, because based on that performance, I promise you there are good things to come. There's so many things to talk about in this performance. And whilst it was goalless, and in the first half, it may not seem as though tactically we got it right, I think the second 45 indicates that we did. And there were some good performances all round, I thought. And I finish here, stood here, perhaps unsurprised at a draw, but fairly satisfied, actually. If you want to take part, you can do so. The link's there at the bottom of the screen, afcbpodcast.com/take part. Really interested to hear your thoughts on it. And straight away, we're going to bring in four people, by the way, of John, Billy and Morgan. Good evening, guys. Hope you're all doing well. John, how are you?
Okay after that. Guess we just got to take the point, haven't we, and be satisfied with that. But I feel slightly frustrated after that.
Yeah, there's an element of that. The way we dominate a game and maybe don't score when, and I mean, I think it should have been a blatant penalty when David Brooks was fouled. But what we're going to do is put some comments on screen at the same time. And also on Twitter, we've put a 5-word match report thing out as well. So I'll be echoing those throughout. Billy, how are you feeling after that?
A positive result. I feel like I know we should have got away with the 3 points, but a point away from home against a very strong Swansea side, don't get me wrong, like they did show threatness in that first half, but yeah, all the comments, it's just about the penalty. Yeah, I think even Swansea fans should even agree that was a penalty. So yeah, the referee was a scummer, in my opinion.
I think, yeah, especially as well because we couldn't bury obviously any of our other chances. So it's like, if we got that penalty, it would have. I think that would have sealed the game, because it seemed like Swansea, they were very resolute, obviously, in their defence, and I think it was because they were so much set up for that. They just didn't throw anything at us, and that's why I'm just slightly annoyed we couldn't capitalise on that. But I think I do agree. I think it was either Willow or Chris was saying that we did play very well, and they said we played our best though, and they said, oh, we'll be happy to take a point, and we've played our best today. But I just feel with the amount of chances, I think it comes back to that clinical, not having that clinical finish. What do you lads think?
Yeah, well, Morgan, what were your thoughts on the game?
Well, what do I talk about? Not starting Sam Sturridge, the horrendous performance by Peter Banks, or the pitched at like a conference ground. Like, where do I even start this evening? So before the team came out, I spoke to Gary Neville, and we were discussing what we think should have started. And we agreed we should have gone with the 4-4-2. Yes, I understand the Championship is about rest and with the games coming thick and fast, but you don't change something that's working. Dom Solanke and Sam Surridge called the defender in the last game against Barnsley an absolute nightmare. Tonight, bringing him on 80 minutes in, I don't get it. Because we needed a goal. It wasn't obviously working after 60 minutes. Give someone half an hour and they might be able to create something. But we have 9 substitutes out on that bench. We can use 5 of them. We brought on Jefferson Lerma in the final bit of the game, which I don't really understand. It didn't really do that much. And then we brought on Surridge in the 80th minute. It was just little too late, I'm afraid.
I'm loving Morgan's rant. He's spot on though.
He could be. I don't know if you're frozen for everyone else, but Morgan is for me at the moment. Morgan. We can hear you. We can hear you loud and clear, but you are paused on quite an unfortunate shot there. So what I might do, Morgan, he's back. Good man. You know what? I think the change in formation. It seems maybe a bit harsh on Sam Surridge. It was guaranteed that. Well, I thought it was guaranteed that Swansea were going to press us hard. And I thought that I always wondered whether we were going to be able to cope without that outlet up top, because we saw Sam making these really intelligent runs in the last match against Barnsley. And, you know, whilst Dom is intelligent, he's not that type of footballer. We were facing the best defence in the Championship. And he obviously thought that we need to like almost go all guns blazing by having Junior in there as well. I was quite surprised by it as well, and I'm sure that JT, though, maybe chatted to Sam and said, look, I know you scored 2 in 2. I know you had a great game, man of the match, but this is why I'm doing it. So I'm certain it would have been brought up, Morgan.
Sam, I don't care about that, to be honest with you, with all due respect. I wrote Sam Surridge a nice message on his Instagram page that was actually fortunately liked by him. And I said, Sam, when you were causing the defenders havoc all night, you were a nightmare for the defenders against Barnsley. 2 goals in 2 games, Super Sam, because he was excellent, absolutely excellent. It's like, if something's working, why try and change it and try and adjust it all the time? Because, change it.
Because there's a variable in football, and that's the opposition that you play. And you can't play the same formation against teams that have got different styles. So, you know, you could say in that second half, we dominated Morgan, and we didn't have any personnel changes, nor did Swansea. And we absolutely dominated.
I can see where Morgan's kind of coming from, though, because I think had we at least tried to keep what we did with Barnsley, I think we would have been too much for Swansea, and we would have come out with something better, because they just weren't giving us anything, were they? I can't even remember Begovic making a save. To be fair,
he made a shot. He made a save, a shot from distance, halfway.
He saved, but it wasn't.
It was.
Oh no. There was nothing too obvious.
We all expected, as did JT, I'm sure, Swansea to give us something more. And I think, you know, had we been more clinical up front, we'd have won that game. I think the referee didn't help us out by a stonewall penalty being turned down.
Stonewall penalty? Yeah, it was a complete penalty. I could have seen it half a mile. Can I just say something? Because, we're not... the referee I thought at one point he was thinking that he had a VAR in it here, because he kind of stopped proceeding for a bit. He was... and also, not only was he terrible for the penalty and he had a blinder all night in terms of a terrible refereeing performance, and he told Brooks Solanke, sorry, he booked Solanke. They for getting in the player's way to restart. They did it, they threw the ball away, and he didn't book their player, so he wasn't. We had a good referee, I think, the other day. He was fantastic. Like, the game throw was being very fair. But today, the referee we can't blame it all, but I'm going to blame some of it on his performance. He was terrible. And if he's ever seen in the Premier League again, my name isn't Morgan Scott.
Well, certainly in charge. I mean, that VAR decision yesterday, I thought was absolutely bizarre. I mean, the first point of contact happened outside the box. The momentum carried him in, and whilst there was still contact, the actual foul didn't happen either on the line or inside it. And he goes and gives a penalty to say, and it doesn't matter that it's Saints. I don't care who it is. It's not a penalty. And the fact that we were all talking about it on Sky Sports and it dominated 20 minutes of conversation afterwards just shows how much of a shite referee he is. And what awful, he needs to go. I mean, what a crap week he's having. Really bad. I mean, that yesterday and that today. Yes, Morgan, you got your finger up.
He'll sit there now, have a cut.
Morgan's still frozen on mine.
No, I'm here.
Frozen this whole time on my screen.
Go on then,
if you can't see me, don't worry, you can hear me. That's always a bonus.
Yeah,
it's all right. You've got a grumpy face. It's quite funny, actually.
Basically, what I wanted to pick up on is Philip Billen. Now, people don't like Philip Billen very much. Now, I'm not a massive lover. But tonight, he offered an 85-minute performance. And you know what? I.e. Steve Hensman and all the other Billen lovers. He was absolutely brilliant. He was brilliant. Billen, because he was getting involved. Yes, he got booked, but I thought he was much better, much improved. It doesn't happen. He doesn't have 2 games on the back-to-back, but he was excellent again. Lewis,
are you a Billen lover now, then, Morgan?
I wouldn't go that far. If he scores 20 goals this season, then maybe we can go from there. But
there's a certain person on the YouTube comments called Stefan who criticises us because we change our mind as if we have to have the same opinion forever. But football changes, and Dom Solanke, I did think started the season relatively poor, but he has come into his own. Morgan, I'm going to give you a breather, mate. I think you need just a bit of air for a sec, and also your camera keeps on pausing for a sec. So you can maybe come back later if you manage to sort that out, because you are freezing a little bit, although we can hear you. He's delighted to be on screen, isn't he? And Billy Day, why don't you give us a man of the match after that, mate?
Oh, man of the match. You know what? Junior Stanislas. For me, I thought he was creating chances. He was unlucky to not score tonight. I feel like he should have. But I think he's the one that put in 100% tonight. My man, Junior Stanislas.
Yeah, he was very creative tonight, I thought, actually.
Yeah. I thought player who had a shocker tonight, I'm sure people agree, Chris Mepham. I thought he had an absolute shocker tonight.
All right. He had this one chance where he could have gone at least and push up on the right wing. Yeah, he could have crossed it. Yeah,
back.
He came back. But that's the defender in him, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that is true.
But I mean, anyway.
I've got to stick on someone, but thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks. And I'll leave you in chat for a little bit, John. We've got Reese here, actually.
Yeah, no worries.
Reese was on the preview with Craig, Swansea fan. It's so nice to have some opposition fans coming on, and 0-0 at the Liberty Stadium. How are you feeling, mate?
Out of the 2 teams, the 2 fans as well, I'm probably the happier of the 2. I thought Bournemouth were going to control the game beforehand, and they actually did as well. There weren't too many chances in the game, really, but obviously you guys had a lot better chances. Solanke in the first half, I think you got to be hitting the target from there, not that far out from goal. We literally had no chances, to be honest. We just defended the whole game, and with 2 of our main centre backs out, I thought, it's a clear penalty. You should have given a penalty all day long, but a point. We're definitely happy, but if it was going to be a team who won it, we were going to win it. It definitely would have been Bournemouth. I thought that Bellingham midfield was very, very good tonight for you lot. I thought you took off the wrong winger, to be honest. I thought Stanislas, out of the 2, should have come off between him and Brooks. I thought Brooks was having a much better game than Stanislas, was creating chances, probably could have had a penalty as well. Yeah. So, I was very happy that he went off.
Reece, did you ever think at any time in the game that you were going to sort of get through us? Maybe when our attacks when we weren't unlocking your defence, did you think, we might catch them on the break here?
I think set pieces, really, we had a few good balls in from set pieces where you defended very well. But apart from that, I literally didn't expect us to win the game. I was quite surprised how defensive we were tonight, considering it weren't that defensive formation with the wing backs. But I just think because Bournemouth were pushing the wing backs on, our wing backs were more solidified defensively, so we kind of struggled. But I thought we defended well, and you were sound because it was quite an onslaught, I thought.
Let's see, I'm going to be a bit biased there, but I think we were obviously very dominant in your third a lot, and yeah, you were very resolute, as I said before, and I guess we've both got to be happy campers with a point. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we thought we'd have a bit of a reunion by bringing Craig in as well, as you obviously did the preview together. Craig, I'll ask you one question, by the way, Reese. Paul Bellamy said, ask him about the pitch. It didn't seem the best, and Chris Temple, who's our sort of local journalist who does the commentary for AFCB TV, also local radio, he said it looked pretty bad, and of course we know that you share the pitch with Ospreys. Is it usually in that kind of state? Because you're a footballing side and you want to play nice football on a beautiful pitch. What's happened?
Well, surprisingly, the Ospreys haven't played the Liberty in about a month, so
you're
probably thinking what's happened. But last couple of weeks it's been torrential rain. Obviously, with the COVID incident, the groundsmen have kind of been put back a little bit. We're not actually training out of training ground. We've been training at our stadium for the majority of the season, I think since August actually. So we're training basically every day on the pitch, and with the weather, doesn't give them much time for the training men or staff to really work on the pitch. And it's quite frustrating because when we were actually in the Premier League in the first season, we had best pitch, and the pitch was very poor tonight, and it kind of stopped the flow of both teams really. So it is disappointing to see, but we've just got to adapt to it.
Craig, how are you?
Yeah, very well, thanks, Sam.
It's nice to have you and Reese together after your preview on this channel, and also Reese's channel, which is excellent, Swans Away Days. We do recommend you check that out. I'll add the link in the description for you after we've done this. Craig, thoughts on that, mate?
Very, very solid defensive performance by Swansea. We did offer, some, good attacking play. Brooks, made some good movements in towards. And what do you make of the penalty shout, Reece? Do you think it was a penalty or not?
When I first seen it, I thought Stonewall penalty. I seen it the second time, I was like, seen them given. But I think if we were in the Premier League, it would have been a penalty all day long. So I think it was a penalty. I think the way Brooks went down, it didn't really help him, if you get what I mean, because the referee was close to him. I think he over-exaggerated a little bit, but at the end of the day, the defender sticks his leg out. It's a penalty all day long. And I thought the referee, especially for you lot tonight, was pretty poor. He was definitely worse for you than he was for us. And I'm not going to complain. It was a penalty. And you also had one in the first half like that as well. It didn't show us the replay, but apparently in our first half we handballed it, but they never showed us the replay. So you could have a couple of penalties today.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's a tough place to go, Swansea. I'm satisfied with the point myself. We could have grabbed all three, so a little bit disappointed we couldn't convert one. But there was that moment when I thought, and it was Freddie Woodman made that poor pass out, and Brooks should have probably done a little bit better with it. But I think it was a fair point, to be fair. Especially, and she defended so well.
Craig, how do you think then, mate? We could have unlocked the door and kind of got a goal. What would you have done if you were JT? Say.
Well, one thing, and of course JT did it in the end, was to go 4-4-2. So I would probably bought Sturridge a little bit earlier.
That's been the general consensus, I think, with some others on here.
Yeah. I would have probably taken off the two that I would have taken off. I would have bought on Lerma as well as Sturridge. Of course, JT did that. Probably would have taken off Smith, gone with maybe move Kelly over to the right. I know it's not his natural position, but keep Mepham and Cook in the centre. Probably, leave Rico where he is. And have Surridge up front for a little bit longer than we did. And I think I would have kept Brooks on.
Do you think it could have been a game for Riquelme with that pace he's got, and he's nippy and kind of got in some spaces, unlocked maybe some kind of areas that we weren't quite getting into? And I felt Lewis Cook, he was his typical kind of self there with his pace on the ball, and I just felt we needed another, like Raquelme, I'm saying, we needed that, like another player to complement that. I just felt, I was saying, again, I was talking to Heather in the game, and I felt we were lacking that.
Yeah.
Like, I saw that against Barnsley. I couldn't come on that day because, I had some other stuff. But, I felt we had a lot of attacking intent against Barnsley, and I was a bit miffed as to where that went tonight. And I know people say, oh, yeah, different. Like Sam, you were saying, we set up differently. You were saying to Morgan about the formations. But I did feel our attacking drive wasn't there. And I remember the commentators said there was a moment when Billing and Solanke were just kind of standing in the box and they weren't making runs, sort of just waiting and not sort of preempting that final ball. What do you think?
One thing I think we were doing a lot different. I mean, Lewis Cook was having a lot of success driving down the middle. And what we were doing against Barnsley, we had a clear focus up front. Whereas this time we managed to play through and, Lewis Cook ran through for the Billing a few times. And then it was obvious tactic to get the ball out wide. But for me, the delivery into the box wasn't as good. I would have preferred Sam Surridge up there, but
I personally thought maybe it shows your manager's inexperience a little bit. I thought you should have changed the game quicker, a lot more. I think you made a double sub in what was it, the 83rd? Well, one sub in the 82nd minute.
Yeah, something like that.
It was too late, and I think if you changed up 60th minute, give Surridge a good half hour to because he's a very good player in the aerial threat. So I thought, maybe Jason Tyndall's inexperienced a little bit just to change up the game a bit quicker, but maybe sat on the point because he didn't want to lose it to a playoff team. But I think if Bournemouth changed the game a lot quicker, brought on Surridge, partnered Lerma and Billing, who had a very good game, because you were boss in the midfield, and with Lerma's physicality as well, with him and Billing would, especially when one of our midfielders who was going in all the time, really, on a yellow card. And I thought, if you changed the game, I think you would have won that.
Reese, thank you so much for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Reese.
Thank you, buddy. And John, also, we're going to swap it up because there's a few people waiting to come on as well. So
no worries. Can I say my man of the match? I'd say Lewis Cook, because he created some good chances. There was an absolute fizzer as well. I thought it was one of those who were like, is it? Oh, it's in. It's not in.
Yeah.
And I felt his play again on the ball. He was fantastic tonight, and he just keeps getting better and better. So
top man.
Yeah, man.
Cheers, John.
Yeah,
Much
no worries.
Anyway,
Up the cherries.
See you in the next one.
Point. So
good man.
See you next one, lads. Have a good night.
Take care. See you later. And then there were two people queuing up to come in, including Marley, also a Swansea fan who does the SCFC vlogs fan channel. We'll bring him in shortly, but what we'll do is we'll bring in first Daniel and also the Philly Ches as well. So Daniel is here. Daniel in Florida, how are you?
Good, thanks for asking. How are you two?
Yeah, very, very good. Thoughts of that? It wasn't a goal fest, but it was an absorbing game. 0-0. What were your thoughts, Daniel?
If I be honest, I'm actually kind of happy that it was a 0-0 because we did play good. Some of the times I said the referee should have there was that one time we needed that penalty.
Yeah.
That was not fair, and I would rather take the 0-0 than them scoring. So
yeah,
because they were super close to scoring. So I'm kind of glad it was a 0-0, and at least we gained 1 point. If we gained 0 points,
that would have been good. We're temporarily top of the league. We've got the Philly Chairs here as well that I'm just about to bring in. How are you, mate? You all right? Hopefully you can hear us okay.
I think I'm having some
internet
issues, so it's not coming off too clear.
No problem at all. What we'll do, we'll just bring you out for 1 second. Can you hear us now? Okay, we'll leave that there for a little bit, and then we'll bring you in shortly. Quick word with Marley from SCFC Vlogs. Loving having these opposition fans in. Hello, mate. How are you?
You right?
Yeah, not too bad. 0-0 your boys today. How are you feeling?
Yeah. Well, I watched the kid. And you lot must say credit to you all. You're still a Premier League team. I'm sorry. I've said this to every single person today. You're still a Premier League team. And to be honest, right? We've played Norwich. We haven't played Watford yet, so I can't really judge them on. But they weren't as hard to break down as you lot were. But yeah, I thought you were a very good team today. I probably maybe would have, if I was Jason Tyndall or whatever his name is, I would have bought Savage for a bit and really got him adapted to the game. And I thought he could have scored against us because we have some sort of curse of letting no player score. So yeah. I thought he could have scored. I was really scared. I was like, no, he's gonna obviously score. But I guess I was proved wrong. But at the end of the day, it took him a while to adapt to the game. Pretty much, I thought you lot were you were missing Dan Juma because isn't he one of your star players, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a flair player, isn't he, Craig, that can just change the game at any given moment, but he's still injured, isn't he?
I believe so, yeah. I thought he was going to be back for the Barnsley game, and definitely for tonight. But I believe, the knock has taken a little bit more longer to recover. But I think he could have changed the game. But I do agree with John that Riquelme, it might have been a game that was best suited to him. Yeah. Because Swansea aren't a side that are physical, in your face. They are a very good footballing side. Yeah. And it's a sort of game that I think Riquelme would shine in more than, like against Rotherham, for example.
Yeah. I mean, you are a good footballing side, Marley. And I think that today's match we didn't get the best advert of like Swansea's footballing qualities today because I think, like you say, we were a good footballing side and, we have still got a lot of our Premier League stars and we seem to dominate possession. So I haven't seen much of Swansea versus other teams this season, but I do get the feeling that you're going to be there or thereabouts this season. I mean, what's the ultimate aim this season for you?
Well, the ultimate aim for us is playoffs. Yeah. I'm not expecting us to go up quite yet because I don't think there's obviously teams of your quality above us, which I'm gonna say, I'm gonna put my hands up and say you're going up this year. And I don't really think that we are quite ready to compete with the likes of you lot. But tonight is on any given day, you guys could have had the 3 points. And I got to say fair play to you lot because you were really hard to break down. We've had chances where we had, I believe, Dander in the second half. He was in amount of space, could have went through and tuck it a bit closer and maybe put in the top right-hand corner past Begovic. But I'm a massive fan of Asmir Begovic. I do think he's still Premier League quality. And I do think he's I do think he's above every standard. I reckon he's probably the best keeper in the league right now. I'm just going to say that. I'm going to put out there. But fair play to you lot. At the end of the day, on any given day, you guys could have had the 3 points. And I thought David Brooks was all right as well, but he did have a few diving things just to criticise you lot a bit. But he did. He did dive a bit, but he's a Welsh lad, so I can't criticise him a bit.
Morgan on chat here says, respect for your thoughts. Do you think that we should have had a pen when David Brooks went down?
Right. You're gonna think I'm lying, but I didn't actually see the thing. I looked on Twitter, everyone saying, "Oh, David Brooks." I was like, "What's going on then?" And apparently, should have had a pen. I'm not sure what our fans made of it, but from the sounds of it, you've our fans and your fans, and I can't really make a decision on it, but. At the end of the day, if I saw him more closely, I could have maybe had a little bit more of a judgment on it. But at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Mate, so many people are commenting on you saying, can we get this lad a Cherry shirt? Also, can we get Marley back on every week? Marley, honestly, superb. Thanks very much. And just give a little plug for your YouTube channel, mate. Tell us what it's all about.
Marley SCFC Vlogs. I came out the Content Awards today. I was in the
Yeah.
final of the Content Awards today. Didn't win,
Oh, wow.
sadly, but who knows? Next year could be my year. But thank you all, Cherry fans, and for the lovely comments. I really appreciate you all, and we probably won't see you next season, but
Well, hopefully. Well, but we certainly will with fans in the stadium, obviously next year. But top man, thanks for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate that. All subscribe to the Back of the Net.
Yeah, cheers. And your YouTube channel. Look at this mutual love. Love it. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. That was Marley there. We've got the Philly Ches that will be coming back very soon. So, Daniel, we just chatted to you briefly. We'll chat to you again. Philip Billing. He's a player that a few games ago, a lot of people were not wanting him in the side. But now you look at him and, this is a credit to his performance. After about 60, 65 minutes, I sort of thought, Jefferson Lerma, I don't think would have done anything different today than what Philip Billing has done. I thought he had a really good game.
I think the reason of people not liking him, because he hasn't really been in that much games, so people thought it's like Joshua King thing. People were getting upset that he was not in the game, but when he proved himself very well when he came back, so more players started liking him, but then more people did not like him because of the way he just came. I don't know, just they're haters for Billing. But if I be honest, Lermer and Billing, to me, I won't really mind which one is on, because if I be honest, wouldn't really mind. I just want one of them to do their best and score. That's all I really care about. So that's yeah, both of them, they do work hard. So I'll say they will be probably the same person, but I don't know how to explain it, but they're the same level, so I wouldn't really care who plays. It's just whoever trains the best, I guess, should go on. So if I be honest, I don't even know what to say anymore.
Yeah, no. You know what, mate? I think you're completely right. And Dave Watkins there in the chat says, Daniel, you certainly know your stuff, and he is loving having you on. So finish off with something positive. What can we take out of that's positive ahead of our match on Saturday in front of the fans at Dean Court?
I'll say the players will feel much better seeing fans, because I was watching this video of the Tottenham fans rooting for against Arsenal game, and those fans made a big improvement to the game, because Tottenham scored I want to say 2 goals against Arsenal. I think the fans will impact at least a little bit, because sometimes we need a boo sometimes. When the other team scores, we need a boo. So yes, it will impact a lot, and hopefully it'll be a win the first day fans come.
Good man. Daniel, thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate it, mate.
Bye.
Cheers, buddy. Thank you very much. Right, we'll try the Philly Ches once again. Hopefully we can all hear you okay. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
Yeah, very good. Very good. We can hear you nice and clear. Welcome to the show. Back of the Net debut. What did you think of that performance today against Swansea?
Overall, I thought it was very good. I thought standout performances were Lewis Cook, as he seems to be week on week or day after day anymore. I thought actually Chris Meffam was very good as well, breaking up the passing that Swansea had going on and going forward, although he didn't cross it at the end, which he could have. He did pass it back, but I thought besides that he was bringing the ball forward and breaking up Swansea's offensive play very well. But all around, I thought it was great.
Yeah, do you agree with what you say, Craig?
Yeah. I think I think Metham had a good game. We were good defensively as well. To be fair, Begovic didn't really have many saves to make. To be fair tonight, and very positive performance. I think it was a positive performance all round. It was just a way of unlocking Swansea. And I think, that was really the only downside. I would have made the substitutions probably around about the 60-minute mark.
Yeah.
And I think, shifting Kelly onto the right. Okay, not his natural position, but I think he would have been stable there. And then being able to have that 4-4-2 formation with Lerma in the centre as well. But to be fair, Billin did have a good game. He is getting better and better. Whereas I've knocked him. He still can't head a ball, but he's doing a lot. He's a bit more aware. He's a completely different player to what we saw, at the start of the season and end of last season.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. What have you made of us so far then? You're 17 games in. Philly Chess. What's your name, by the way? First name?
Oh, Aiden.
Aiden. Hello, mate.
Yes.
Welcome to the channel. So
Aiden.
17 games in. What have your thoughts been on JT and how's he dealt with this whole management job?
Overall, I think we started off as pretty much as best as we really could, trying in bed, because I think everyone expected us to do well from the start. But I think changing up the system has helped us mid-season, going back to the back four and then going back to the back five now recently also has helped us out a lot. So I think he's done rather well stepping into Eddie Howe's shoes. That was a big shoes to fill after everything he has done. So I think it's been a great season so far. Only disappointment could be the games like at Sheffield Wednesday and Rotherham not getting the full points, which does happen. I think just overall it's been good to see player progression too. The likes of Kelly, I thought, has been pretty good this year, and Lewis Cook becoming our best player, I think, this entire season.
Yeah, completely agree. Mate, thank you very much for coming on, Aiden. Really appreciate it.
Definitely.
Thank you so much. And yeah, please come on again. Yeah, we'll give you more time as well, but it's been a very busy one tonight. And Craig, also, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it, buddy.
Take care, mate.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. And Craig's, have you told people yet? But Huddersfield, obviously, you're chatting to different people to preview these games. And Huddersfield, you've got an ex-player, is that right?
I certainly do. I won't announce the name as yet, but I wonder if anybody can guess. He was a big player for them in the late 90s, mid to late 90s, early 2000s as well. And to be fair, he scored a lot of goals. If you imagine, he's Huddersfield's equivalent of Fletch. That's what I'll leave you with.
Okay. Leave your guesses in the comments. Really appreciate it. And Craig, yeah, thank you very much for coming on. Appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
Cheers, Sam. Take care, mate.
Cheers, buddy. Yeah, see you later on, mate. Okay, so we're going to bring in John and also Steve as well. John, how are you?
Doing okay. Would have taken a point before the game. So that's the sort of way to look at it, I think. It was a little disappointing considering how much we dominated the game, that we really didn't create as many chances as we definitely could have done. And I put on Twitter before the game, like, I did not like the look of that formation at the start.
Yeah.
Because I remember the previous game that we played with a midfield two of Cook and Billing, and that was against Derby. And what a great game that was for us. So I wasn't expecting much, and I was pleasantly surprised by how well we dominated the game, particularly on the worst pitch we played on all season. So that was great. But the other thing that really worried me was who was going to make those runs in behind. And Surridge made a couple of runs early, one or two, and then didn't really get the opportunity to. I don't think the players really fancied sending those balls into the channel for him. They weren't that confident he would get them. So in the end, we played so much in front of that defence, which was the best defence in the league. We had to do something different, and we didn't have it. I think it was the Philly Chairs, actually, Aiden, who replied to a comment I made on Kirk's halftime post that was like, Brooks and Stanislas are too deep, he was saying. Yeah. And I totally understand that. I feel as though that's their job, to be deeper, to try and dictate play. They were finding a lot of half spaces, but it needed Surridge. It really needed Surridge, and it should have been much earlier to make that change. The only thing I will say is I think JT was happy with the point and didn't want to change, didn't want to risk rocking the boat and worrying that maybe a shift up front would worry us defensively. But again, would have taken a point before the game. There's a lot of teams that will not get anything from going to Swansea. So that we can be pretty happy with.
Yeah. I agree with that. James has just been on the chat say, where's Hensman? He starts work in 6 hours. Well, you know what, James, just for you, I'll bring him in now. And also, I'll bring in Kirk as well.
Sorry, Sam, I've got to go, mate.
You have to go.
No, I'm all right.
I can hear myself, by the way, your end, so you may just need to turn your volume of your earphones down a little bit.
Mine?
I can hear myself twice. Yeah, I can hear myself twice, which, you know, I love hearing my own voice and everything, but not that much.
We know that, yeah.
In the meantime, whilst I mute you, Kirk, you've been listening to what John said. What were your thoughts to you tactically? Because, you know, you're always there with your heat maps and your charts and stuff. And how did you feel when you saw that lineup today?
Confused, a bit like John. We're top of the league. Swansea played to take a draw. They'll be absolutely delighted with the draw. I'd have taken the draw before the game, but after seeing the performance at full time and Swansea's sort of ambition, I'm actually frustrated that I think we've had a missed opportunity here. And I actually think that JT is not playing to our strengths with the formation he put out today. So I am actually frustrated. Top of the league. People will look at that and go, good point away from home at Swansea. And I had a draw at the start, but yeah, frustrated because I think we had an opportunity there to take more.
There is still slight feedback, Steve, so I don't know how loud we are in your ears. So if you're able just to check, because what's happening, your mic is picking up your audio from your earphones, which is just one of those things. It just needs.
Do you want to take me out for a minute then?
Yeah, no problem at all. I'll take you out. Well, mate, I've wanted to do that since I first met you, but due to lockdown, we haven't been able to. Anyway, in the meantime,
I look lovely in a dress.
Yeah, I bet you do. What we'll do is we'll bring in Filippo in Italy, who is with us, and legend Filippo. Hello, mate.
Hi, Sam. Hope my audio is okay because on Friday it was terrible. Absolutely.
It's
it
all
okay?
good.
Can you hear? Okay.
Very clear. So, thoughts on that 0-0 against Swansea then, Filippo?
Yeah, it was a decent performance. Decent in the first half and better in the second. But I'm still complaining about that penalty because it was a bad decision from Peter Banks, who is a Premier League referee. Maybe it's not a regular Premier League referee, but he is referee some games. So I can't understand why he didn't give us the penalty, because he even did VAR. So I can't understand. But at the end of the day, it's a good point, and also second in a row. And now we have 2 home games. We have the first home game with fans since the whole pandemic started.
Yeah. Quick question: what VAR in the Premier League? It's not very good, and it spoils our fun. How's it working in Serie A? Is it, are people talking about it like they are? Because in the newspapers, on the TV, all we talk about is VAR. VAR is terrible. VAR is bad. How's Italy doing it? Do fans feel the same?
Yeah, not everybody are happy with VAR. So in Italy, in Serie A, there are still complaints. For example, I can tell you that because Roma on Sunday didn't have a penalty. The referee was not called by the VAR referee. So there are still complaints after how many years? It's 3 years, I think. So it still is a problem for someone.
Yeah. So Peter Banks, who was the referee on the pitch tonight, he yesterday was controlling the VAR when he gave a penalty to Southampton. That the incident happened outside the box, and he still gave a penalty. So I was always a bit nervous about having him in charge tonight. And when I saw David Brooks go down on 71 minutes, I thought, That's got to be a penalty. He was right in front of it, had the clearest possible view. No penalty. I mean,
The contact was clear.
what can you say about that? It was clear.
The contact
It was
clear.
absolutely clear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just...
I don't want to take about the penalty because also we had the chance. We had the chance to have a game winner with Dom in the first half. That counter attack and his shot gone wide. So we really could win that. Also because Swansea didn't play. They played quite bad. I got to be honest.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, we've got fans back at the stadium on Saturday against Huddersfield. What changes would you be making, Filippo? Would you be putting Lerma in? Would you be starting Sam Surridge? I mean, what would you change?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It's a good idea to make Sam Sturridge start on Saturday because he, like Dominic Solanke, is a player. They are players who are more confident game by game. They are having their chances. They are also scoring. So I think it will be a good idea. Also, we have the youngsters. The youngsters are playing good. In the first game, in his debut game, Jadon Anthony got the assist against Preston North End. The assist for Sam Surridge. So we have quite lots of rotations, I think.
Yeah, agreed. Filippo, thank you very much. Someone on chat said,
"Thank you, Sam." The cherries.
There's no way that the cherries. Can you just do it one more time for Chris Edwards? Say up the cherries.
Up the cherries.
What a guy. What a guy. Cheers, Filippo. Thank you.
See you on Saturday, everybody. See you on Saturday.
See you on Saturday. Really appreciate it. What we're going to do, we're going to bring Steve Hensman in. And I've got to say, there was a message from Carl on chat. He said, I watched more Serie A because of Filippo. And Carl, I don't know if you noticed, but I cracked up at one of your comments earlier when the Philly Ches was on, and then some guy in a hoodie walked behind him and you put, there's a robber in your house. And I nearly soiled myself because of that remark, but I didn't, so it's good. Right, Steve Hensman's back. Hopefully you're good. Steve, you all right?
Is that any better?
Perfection or perfecto. Oh,
good.
Yeah, that's better. 0-0 then against Barnsley. But usually you bring an air of realism to proceedings. I think I'm feeling a bit frustrated, but kind of satisfied with the performance. I don't necessarily feel as though it's a missed opportunity like some do. So I thought the performance that concerned me more than the result itself. We didn't lose, and I thought the second half, especially, we looked really good, albeit not converting. Bring some realism to it, Steve. What did you think?
I completely agree with you, mate. I thought we. That's another one for the diary. I just thought it was everyone put in a really good shift tonight. I think they did their job well. I didn't see a lot of mistakes being made. I thought we played well as a unit. Swansea just set up to stifle us. They were niggly. They were fouling us. The ref didn't help, obviously, but I can't really point a finger at anyone for doing anything, getting anything wrong. I don't. Maybe, like Stato said just a minute ago, he didn't understand the formation, but that's what JT chose to go with, and I thought they all, apart from being a little bit shy in front of goal, I don't think you can really say too much. I think they did a good job on us.
Kirk, you are looking very stern, according to Richard tonight, and yeah, you were confused by that formation, and I could probably say based on the first half, you were probably right. So I thought it wasn't the greatest game to watch, but in the second half, it was a lot better, wasn't it?
It was better in the second half, but I just don't think JT played to our strengths tonight with the formation. I thought Friday was a real game changer for us. It really highlighted where we can hurt teams. To then actually see us not play two up top, which was so lethal the other night, to me was just a bit weird. He's gone back to a 3-4-3. I think it's a 3-4-3 tonight. Stanislav dropping in every now and again. The problem is he hasn't played to Dom's strengths. He's trying to play Dom something he isn't. He's not a number 9. So now you're putting him back up there and we're going through the same issues again. He's not going to run channels. He's not going to chase lost causes, and everything that Sam does. And everything that Sam does is not going to do completely as good as Solanke. The problem is, and I said it in my tweets today, if we were going to score today, it was going to be a worldie, because we're never going to create chances. You look at Smith and Rico today in the first half, especially. They had no ambition again. There was no ambition to go down that wing and whip the ball in. They were better in the second half. There was more endeavour, but they were so reserved, and we were trying to tick-a-tacker and be too cute round the box. And for me, that's because we're not playing someone like Sam Surridge, and that we're not playing to our strengths. And that's where I've said to you, how many times have I said we're not going to grind out results and win 1-0 and have a striker near in the goal? We're going to win glamorously, or we're going to struggle. Now, although we didn't struggle and we dominated the game today, and like Steve says, no, we didn't make any mistakes. I don't think we were ever going to make any mistakes, because Swansea stood off us, were happy for us to have the ball and never really forced the game. So we were always going to dominate the game. We were very rarely going to cost ourselves the game. When I say it's a missed opportunity, is that we never forced the game and try and win the game. And if you look at it, and some people have said, 11 points.
I don't think that's fair, Kirk. I think we did.
11 points. Sorry, sorry, Steve. I'll come back to that in a minute. Right. So 11 points in draws, against top teams. But I will also highlight we've dropped 9 points against teams in the bottom 8 by drawing or losing as well. So you can balance it out, So I would have taken a point away from home. I'm just a bit disappointed from the way we went about our process on Friday to completely almost throwing that out the window and coming in with something that we've struggled with in the past.
See, Steve, go on.
Well, I just think it's a little bit unfair to say we didn't try and win that game. I think we had, Dom had a good chance early doors. I think Brooksy, he connected with that goal mouth scramble. There was a chance there. Lewis Cook had a couple of long range efforts. I know there weren't lots and lots of efforts.
But that's my point. We're only going to score world-class goals with this lineup. For example, how many times have we won 1-0? Well,
there's 3 different types of efforts there. There's Dom, creating a nice little through ball to him, running on and hitting it, and there's one goal mouth scramble, and then you got Lewis Cook, having a pop from outside the area. I don't know.
How many games have we won playing that formation with Dom up top, having to do that number 9 transition, that number 9 work that is not natural to him, and we've won 1-0 with Dan Juma scoring a screamer. 2 games with Dom Solanke and Sam Surridge up top, we've scored 7 goals.
John, what are your thoughts on what you've been listening to there?
Yeah, I mean, because I can understand what Steve's saying in terms of like the couple of like what you would look back and say are the bigger chances. What I would say is the Dom chance, and then the other one that I would point out was the David Brooks one, where he couldn't quite lift it over the keeper or put it past him, as I think he was trying to do. Is that those are pretty sure were only 2 shots in the area, apart from like a massive scramble in the second half, and they were both from mistakes. Those weren't ones that we created ourselves. Those were when we pounced on errors, which is something that we used to do a hell of a lot better at, I think. But we still try and do the best we can, and you only have to look at our second goal against Barnsley to show that we can still do it. But if other than those 2 really good chances, there was nothing where we were incisive. There was a hell of a lot of play just in front of their back line, a lot of trying to be ticky-taka and whatnot, but without, like Kirk says, without the wing-backs really bombing on and providing an opportunity to get behind the defence, which is a huge way of attacking that we're not using, without that, someone else needs to get behind the defence, because you either shoot from out the area or you get the ball into the area for someone to shoot. And we didn't really do that. The only times we really got the ball in the area was little dinks over on the left-hand side where Philip Billing did a nice sort of back heel in the air back to Solanke, who couldn't do anything with it. And the other one was the ball where the one time Solanke really did make that run, he made it too early. He was offside. He produced that bicycle kick, which set up for Surridge, but the game was over. Those are the only 2 times I can think where going up against that really deep line, we actually played the ball behind the line. Everything else was in front of it. Now, if you don't have anyone that's going to dribble through that line, which without Danjuma, we don't really have, we didn't have anyone to run beyond, which again, without Danjuma and Surridge, we didn't have. So, like Kurt was saying, everything was in front, and you can look back to 2 really good Lewis Cook chances. You can look back to a couple of other long shots. Without getting really into the area and getting the ball in the area, it was all half chances at best. And we can definitely do better, but we need someone making runs in beyond to do that.
What I'm going to do is Morgan is intent on having another couple of minutes, so I'm going to bring him in so you can join him. And
Has he laid off the Diet Coke?
He has. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a sort of we got about 4 minutes left on this show, so I'm going to duck out myself, and Morgan's going to come in. So Kirk, I'll let you interpret this one and do the line of questioning. Morgan, go on then, mate. Enjoy.
So you still got something to say, Morgan?
Yeah, so you, Steve, Steve, you're turning me off, mate. Hey, in terms of, Steve was saying a minute ago against yourself, Kirk, that he thought it was, and that we weren't fighting enough to win that game. Steve, why do you think that Bournemouth were given it? Do you think they were showing aggression, or do you think we were lacking some substitutions because Sam Surridge didn't come on for the 80th minute? What do you think?
Yeah, I think you could say that. I think he did leave the substitutions a bit late, but I think Swansea made that very difficult for us. They were very, very. I found them breaking up the play. How they didn't get more yellow cards, I have no idea, because there was shirt pulls going on. They were really making it a difficult night for us. And I think we still create. I mean, there's a Stanislas chance that he's got a half volley from the edge of the box, or sort of 18-yard, sort of about a penalty spot, I think it was. Yeah, that's another chance. I think we did. I think we created a lot of chances, just weren't clinical.
And in terms of Philip Billing tonight, another 85 minutes?
I thought he had a really decent game.
Yeah, I mean, I'll come in on the Philip Billing as well. Oh, sorry, Steve.
No, I thought. I mean, there was point in this. I don't know what half it was, but he came sprinting after one of their guys over to the touchline and put in a challenge. And was it first half? Yeah. And I just thought that's the sort of thing I want to see from him. I want to see him working hard to tackle back to the team, to win the ball back. Because he could be that Patrick Vieira type player. I'm not saying he's on that level, but a poor man's Patrick Vieira. Do you know what I mean? He's got that physique about him. He breaks up the play. He got a good pass in him. I just need a bit of energy and a bit of willing. That's willing from Billing. That's all I'm asking.
I'll come in on the Billing, because I've been critical of Billing as well. I mean, he has been much improved in the last 2 games. I think he's a lot better on the ball. The concern I have is I don't really like him in a 2, because it means he has to do more defensive work and be more organised. Now, it's going to be quite difficult for people to watch this back in real play for 90 minutes. But I encourage people to watch Billing on the next match that he plays, because from a defensive point of view, I think he's very poor and very frustrating. He ball watches an awful lot, and sometimes he doesn't watch the man, and the balls actually break through him, and he's ball watching and about 5 yards late reacting. The other thing I'd mention with Billing when he plays in a 2 is his recovery is not great, and that's because of his stature, and he hasn't got speed. So there's a few times, and I think he gave away a free kick just outside the box in the second half, where it's gone behind him. He hasn't got the recovery pace, so he pushes him over. That's why I prefer Billing, and I think his better performances have come in a 3 when he's played in front of Lerma and Lewis Cook. I prefer him up there with less responsibility going backwards, because I think he's okay on the ball, and he can get him in positions between the midfield and defence, and he can lay these balls on for Solanke and Stanislas and open these assisted chances. So although he had a good game today, he didn't reach the heights I feel personally that he reached on Friday. But from a defensive point of view, if you specifically watch him defensively, he's not great. I don't know what you think, John, but I don't, he doesn't impress me at all.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I've said for years. Billing can't play in a 2 for the most part. It's really is, because his defensive work rate today, his defensive work rate was actually very impressive for me. That was probably the thing I noticed most about him, was how much effort he put in going up and down the pitch. But in a 3 is generally where we're going to get the best out of him, because it leaves him less defensive responsibility, encourages him to be further up the pitch. You saw with his goal that he can definitely provide. And as much as I think a lot of people felt as though his pass to Rico, the second assist to Rico against Reading, I think it was an easy pass, when you look back at it, he didn't look to see if Rico was there. So he had the intelligence to make the pass without having really to think about it. So he's got enough in him. We just, exactly as Kirk's been saying before, we need to see it on a regular basis. And to get the best out of him is definitely in a 3.
And a question for you, Steve. Sorry, Morgan. A question for you, Steve. So that's...
Sorry, carry on.
A question for you, Steve.
Enjoying the show.
So, after 17 games now, I think. So, Steve's just started to go into buffering. Is he back? Is he there, or is he frozen?
No, he's back. Well, I'll tell you what, I think we will be winding up soon, but it looks like he has frozen. But yeah, go on, carry on your point before we finish it up.
I'll ask the question to Morgan then. So, 7 draws so far after game week 17. However, we have dropped 9 points against teams in the bottom 8. So where do you see us at the moment after that, Morgan? Bearing in mind that's another draw against a team that probably at the start of the season we would have taken away from home.
We were having a conversation before the game even started this evening off air, and I think after that performance tonight, we should be winning games like that. I want to say we should be getting at least a scrappy 1-0, if not better, if we want to be going back to the Premier League. So after the performance that against, as you just said, I think we need to be doing a lot better than that. We need to be winning games in the bottom from... okay, yes, Swansea are a good opposition, but I think we do need to be doing a lot better and picking up a lot more points. And I think it's been said throughout the show, so I'm not going to keep going over old ground. But Sam, the formation tonight was the big factor in that, because Sam Surridge, I reckon that would have been a different game, and I reckon he could have nicked a goal with Dom in attack with him. So I think it's a lot better. But compared to the last game, I really do think we shouldn't be changing the formation. I think the 4-4-2 suit AFC Bournemouth very, very well with Sam Surridge and Dom Solanke.
Fair play. Morgan, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. What we'll do is you can say goodbye to Steve as well, because we're all going to say our goodbyes now. Steve, sorry, but you did just freeze, but we're all saying goodbye.
Oh, I think my Wi-Fi dropped out.
Oh, it's a hi and a bye, but yeah, thank you for coming on tonight, Steve. Really appreciate it.
Can I just say one thing?
Go. Yeah.
Did anyone else notice that Willow managed to get their right back or left back, whatever his name's his name correct? Thibaut, his name is.
Yeah.
But he can't get Stanislas right.
No, I know.
I mean,
Steve, are you sure
Yeah.
Steve, are you sure your Wi-Fi went? Are you sure your Wi-Fi went down, or did you just have a voice call from Philip Billen saying congratulations?
I don't have Morgan. I don't have Wi-Fi. It's still dial-up here, but you wouldn't know about that.
Yeah. Steve, thank you so much for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it.
Bye.
Cheers,
Bye.
mate. Morgan, as ever, thank you so much. Cheers, buddy. Kirk, top man. See you Friday for some Little Down football, yeah?
Looking forward to it. The rematch is
Crunch time! Looking forward to playing football again. Appreciate it. And John, thank you so much for coming on, mate.
No problem. Nice to be here again. Lewis Cook, man of the match again, by the way.
Cool.
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree
with that. We're in agreement with something. Cheers, guys. And yeah, thank you everyone on the comments as well. So what's happening against Huddersfield? Tom Jordan, he's like Willy Wonka with his lucky ticket. He is going into the game and we'll be doing a match day vlog. I am going to be doing a free-for-all at 5 p.m. and then we'll all bring together a load of content after the game. Throughout the season, by the way, we're not going to be doing the interviews outside the ground just because we don't think it's socially responsible to do so. People are trying to stay apart inside the ground, and it would be a bit stupid of me to be outside the ground getting people queuing up to chat. So that's not going to happen. It's all going to be online, but we will have some video content. And maybe a comparison of our match day experiences. Me at home watching on AFCB TV and Tom inside the ground. I'm pretty sure that Tom will have a better experience. Anyway, well done if you've got a ticket for the game. I'm not jealous whatsoever. But yeah, thanks for watching. Do subscribe to this channel. Give this video a thumbs up as well if you can. It really helps us. That little like button, really would appreciate it if you were to hit that. And yeah, all I can say is it was not a surprising result, but some satisfying bits. But could we have got more? I'm sure the debate will still be happening over on Twitter. Your 5-word match reports, we didn't get time to put them on, sadly, today. But what we'll do is we'll retweet some of the best ones. So follow us on Twitter. That's twitter.com/AFCB podcast. Until the next one, cheerio.